28. Consideration by paragraph or seriatim. A report or long motion consisting of a series of resolutions, paragraphs, articles, or sections that are not totally separate questions can be considered by opening the different parts to debate an amendment separately, without division of the question. If the judge does not follow such a course of his own accord and the assembly wishes to do so, the procedure can be ordered by adopting a motion to consider by paragraph or to consider seriatim. Several distinct main motions on different subjects cannot be considered seriatim if a single member objects. Standard descriptive characteristics. The incidental motion for consideration by paragraph, or seriatim, 1. Takes precedence over the main motion and over the subsidiary motion to postpone indefinitely. If applied to an amendment, it also takes precedence over that amendment, but it cannot be applied to the main question while an amendment to the main question is pending. It yields to all subsidiary motions except postpone indefinitely, amend, and limit or extend them to debate, to all privileged motions, and to all applicable incidental motions. 2. Can be applied to main motions and amendments of such length and structure that the method is appropriate. No subsidiary motion can be applied to it alone except amend, and for the purpose of stopping its amendment, the previous question. But while it is pending, the main question can be committed, postponed, or laid on the table, and it then undergoes the same process with the main motion. 3 is out of order when another has the floor. 4 must be seconded. 5 is not debatable, but see 433, 31 through 32 regarding allowable explanation of an undebatable motion. 6 is amendable. 7 requires a majority vote, and 8 cannot be reconsidered. Further rules and explanation. Effective consideration by paragraph. The effect of considering a document by paragraph or seriatim is as follows. If a member exhausts his right to debate under the usual rules on one part, his right to debate begins over again at each succeeding part is open to debate and amendment, yet no vote on adoption is taken until there has been an opportunity to perfect all the parts by amendment. Keeping all subdivisions of the series open until one final vote avoids the responsibility of complications which would result, especially in the case of bylaws, if amendments to later paragraphs necessitated changes in order in others that had already been adopted. Cases in which the chair normally applies the method. In adopting a series of bylaws or the articles of the platform, consideration by paragraph is the normal and advisable procedure, followed as a matter of course unless the assembly votes to do otherwise. The chair, on his own initiative, can apply this method to any elaborate proposition susceptible to such treatment, unless he thinks the assembly wishes to act on the question as a whole, or the manner of consideration can be settled by unanimous consent. Should the chair neglect this, any member can move that the resolution be considered by paragraph, or seriatim. Motion to consider as a whole. If the chair suggests consideration by paragraph and the member feels that time could be saved acting on it as a whole, the member can move that it be considered as a whole. This motion is governed by standard descriptive characteristics identical to those for consideration by paragraph or seriatim. Procedure for consideration by paragraph. The procedure in considering a paragraph or seriatim is as follows. The member who moved the adoption of the document, the secretary or the presiding officer, as the chair may decide, reads the first subdivision, and it is explained by its proponent. The chair then asks, is there any debate or amendment to this paragraph or section, etc.? When there is no further debate or amendment to the first paragraph, each succeeding one is taken up. Amendments are voted on as they arise, but no paragraph is amended is acted upon as to final adoption or rejection at that time. After all parts have been considered, the chair opens the entire document to amendment. At this time, additional parts can be inserted or parts can be struck out, or any one of them can be further amended. It is not necessary to amend the numbers of articles, sections, or other subdivisions. It is the duty of the secretary to make all such corrections where they become necessary. See 57:18 through 19. If there is a preamble, it is treated in the same way before the final vote. Then the entire document is acted upon in a single vote. If the previous question is ordered before the preamble has been considered, it does not apply to the preamble, unless expressly so stated. Application of subsidiary and incidental motions during consideration by paragraph. During the consideration of the separate paragraphs, any motion to postpone indefinitely, commit, postpone, or lay on the table can apply only to the entire series of proposition. If a motion to postpone indefinitely is made under these circumstances, it is stated by the chair, but it is not debated or voted on until the paragraph-by-paragraph phase of consideration is completed and the entire document has been declared open to amendment. This rule is a consequence of two characteristics of the motion to postpone indefinitely, that amendments take precedence over it, and that while it is pending, the entire main motion is open to debate. Motions to commit, postpone indefinitely, or lay on the table, on the other hand, are taken up as they arise, and if adopted, they affect the entire main question immediately. If or when the main question comes before the assembly again later, the consideration by paragraph or seriatim is resumed at the point where it was interrupted. The previous question, limit or extend limits of debate, can be applied to amendments or to the entire document, but not to the individual paragraphs. If it has been decided to consider divisible material seriatim, even if the material was divided on the demand of a single member, it is too late to move or demand a division of the question. Form an example. When the chair does not initiate seriatim consideration, this form can be used. Member A obtained the floor. Mr. President, I move that the resolution, or the platform, etc., be considered by paragraph, or seriatim, second. If the chair suggests consideration by paragraph and a member feels the proposition to be acted on the poll, this form may be used. Member X obtained the floor. Madam President, I move that this motion be considered as a whole. Second,